Have you been looking into using Facebook as a form of advertising, or have you just wanted to look into just a little bit more about what Facebook advertising is? Well, this is the perfect video for you. I'm Amelia and I am your social media specialist at Eightball Media, and I'll run through some of the key components of what you need to look into before starting your Facebook ads, and also how you can run your own Facebook ads as well. So let's get started. Cool, so we'll start with Gary Vee. So, for the people who don't know who Gary Vee is, he was a man who helped his parents to work on a wine business, and he grew up from $3 million to a $60 million a year business within the span of 10 years. And then he also grew, one of the tactics that he used was to use social media for advertising. But the fun fact is he never sold a wine bottle through social media, and he just used it purely for advertising and marketing. So today he is now well known as a public speaker and great for his media and communication strategies, and now also own his own digital ad agency at $160 million. So he said that if you're not putting your content on the internet, your website, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat, and whatever else is out there, your business is actually falling behind. So just have a think about your Facebook and your Instagram. And do you actually use that for advertising right now, or is it just purely for personal use? We'll run through these key points today. So why you would look at Facebook as your form of Facebook advertising, and then how to define your goals and target audience in order to create your ads, and then how to find your marketing objectives. The two key points that we were speaking to is the Facebook boosted posts and Facebook ads, and then how to do Facebook competitor analysis, and also creating relevant content and visuals. Because Facebook ads itself is quite an elaborative platform, this video will probably just show you just some key points and the main things that you would need to look at before creating your ads. Hopefully this will then give you key takeaways and help guide you to do your own targeted research and do your own specific ads that you would like to do. So, for those of you who do use Facebook ads, you would have started because you saw that more and more businesses are jumping onto Facebook as well. But for those of you who don't know and feel like you need a bit of a validation as to why you should use Facebook, these are some of the reasons. So there are some benefits of using Facebook, and many surveys have suggested that there are currently 16 million Australians now using social media, and more Australian businesses choose Facebook over other social media platforms. In fact, there are actually 51% small businesses, 58% medium businesses, and 85% large businesses. And within that, there's actually more than 50% of social media users who value brand interaction and are more likely to trust the business if it offers engaging and relevant content. So this is saying and this is also why we encourage you to do a lot of research before you actually start doing your ads. And Facebook was originally built to connect. So this was to help people who, let's say, have families overseas in the US and you're living in Australia, and it easily helps you connect to them and just talk to them. So businesses can leverage off this and reach out to your customers, build relationship, and get to know your audience a little bit more, and then just generate discussion and see what they like and what they don't like. So just have a think about, do you use Facebook to boost your boosted post, or do you use Facebook through Ads Manager? And for those of you who do use Facebook for advertising, do you feel that you have been successful with advertising through Facebook, or have you felt like it hasn't made too much difference? So some of the reasons as to why it may have affected your business where it hasn't generated enough results, it could be some of these reasons. So connecting with your audience is important, but so is defining your goal and target audience. So before you start your ads, make sure you ask yourself some of these questions. What are your short-term goals? Are you looking to help push a promotion that is a monthly promo that you have on, or do you have a long-term goal, which is to build trust and create brand awareness so that you can increase foot traffic? And have you defined your target audience? And if you have, what are your target audience's pain points, and have you tried to resolve that? So let's take a minute to think about your business. When you first started your business, you would have already had a few target audience in place, but have you actually looked into their psychographic or behavioral attributes? So we can give you an example. If you think about like a furniture industry, some of the target audience could be an 18 to 25-year-old, and these people would have recently moved out, so they're lower in budget. They're generally still studying in uni or have just started studying uni, and they love watching TV shows later at night and just binging on these, such as Game of Thrones, and they like to scroll on social media later at night. Then there's the 25 to 35-year-olds who are couples, may have been newly married and just become parents. They like shows such as home renovations and enjoy doing DIY activities. And then there's the 35 to 45-year-olds who've recently divorced or they're single parents. Their TV shows would be home and garden, and their source of medium would be reading magazines and newspapers and enjoy discussing politics with their friends. Defining this is the foundation of all elements of your marketing strategy, but believe it or not, you can actually break this down further. So we take the 18 to 25-year-olds, for example, and we'll call this guy Jeff. He's 21, and we'll start to paint the picture and his story. He's recently moved out and is really slim on budget, like we mentioned before. But what are his pain points? His pain points is that he currently has no furniture at home because everything's a bit too expensive. But hey, what he really wants to do is do up his apartment and make it look nice because someone has a big date coming up this week. And what we want to do is connect with Jeff and let him know about his opportunities because he's not quite that resourceful guy. So what we do know is Jeff, like his friends, they enjoy communicating through Facebook and Facebook Messenger, and they love scrolling through the newsfeed later at night. And then he has also shown that he uses Facebook quite often. So now we know his habits and how we can help Jeff by reaching out to him. So this is one example of how you can break down your audience into behavioral and psychographical attributes. So once you've segregated a few of these target audience, this can then help determine other attributes that make up your ads, such as the tone of voice, the visual assets, and time and place for your advertising. So I know that this can be a lot to take in right now, but when in doubt, just answer these questions when you want to figure out your target audience. Ask yourself who, what, when, where, and why. Cool, now we'll start to look into how Facebook ties into all of this. So there are actually two forms of Facebook ads. There's the boosted posts and the Facebook ads through Ads Manager. So what Facebook boosted post is, it's the simplest and most basic form to advertise on Facebook. What it is essentially the post that you have put on your timeline and you're just applying monetary value to it. So you can boost it to an audience of your choice. So if you think about it in a way of, so imagine someone who had a normal person who doesn't have superpowers versus someone who does have superpowers. So let's think about, Sonic or Roadrunner. So once you boost your post, you're adding superpowers to this person, and they have the capability to run around the whole city a lot faster and be seen by a lot more people than just a normal daily person who's just going through about their day-to-day life. So when you boost a post, you're essentially telling Facebook three things. So who you want to reach, what's your maximum budget you want to spend on your post, along with how long you want to run your ads. So now we just run through a quick demo, and we'll run you through how to create a boosted post. So as you can see here, this is what you call a business page, and we created this page just for this talk here. So if you're an admin of the business page, you'll see this data where it shows you the people you've reached, your engagement, and then you'll see this button here, boost post. So once you click on that, it'll give you some options and give you a pop-up. So in this pop-up, there are some criteria that you have to follow through, and we'll give you an example using that furniture industry and also the 18 to 25 demographic. So what we want to do is we want to boost a post about a blog that we've written. So the 5 ways, quick and easy ways of doing up your apartment without exhausting your budget. So here your objective is to get more reactions, comments and shares to your page. And then what you need to do is we always recommend having a call to action button, which is this area here, the post button. It is optional, but we always say to actually put one on, because what happens is if you don't ask your audience how you want them to action, then they are most likely to just disregard your post even if it's relevant. So what you would do is put learn more, because you want them to learn about your page and your blog, and then make sure you put a link in there. So in here, make sure you don't put in your homepage, put in the actual link that goes to the exact blog that you want them to see, so that they land directly there, so they don't have to spend time searching for it, because you will also drop the interest after, having them navigate through your page. And then here, it starts to tie into the audience that we were trying to define before. So our audience, we want the 18 to 25-year-olds, and you define some of their behavioral and psychographical attributes before. What you do is either you can choose from the ones that you created before, or you can just create a new audience. And what that does is we've already created one for you, but this is what it will look like. You'll come up with another pop-up, and then essentially you'll have create new audience. What you do in the name is to name it according to your research, so who you're trying to target. So the 18 to 25-year-olds, and what are they doing? They recently moved out or just moved out. Then you target the gender, so either male or female, or both of them if you know which gender you want to target. Then enter in your age so that they know, Facebook knows who to advertise to. Just the next area is the location. So if you have a desired location that you want to target, or you know where they specifically will be around or living, just enter these in the suburb, and all you have to do is type it in here, and Facebook will search the locations for you, and it will start to populate in here. And then the next area is the detailed targeting. So what that is that behavioral and all the life events that we were talking about. So just to tie it back into what we spoke about, so we want people who have recently moved out, they're looking for bedroom furniture, they're really into home and renovation, and they're currently studying in university. So these are some of the attributes that you can start to put in. And then once you've done that, you will see this gauge at the bottom. What this gauge tells you is Facebook telling you whether your ad is too specific or too broad. And seeing that it's in the middle right now, that's a good place to be. And then it also gives you a rough estimate on how many people you're most likely to reach. So obviously this is just a guide. It's not exactly, on point with the numbers, but it's just good to know. Once you're done, you click save, and then you'll go back down here. Automatic placement, what that is it's just telling you that it's going to place all your ads in the right places and utilize your budget in the best way possible. And also, it grabs data from Facebook Pixel, which we'll talk about later, and it knows where your audience is generally, what platform your audience is generally using. So that'll help you place your ads around in those areas and in a lot of different Facebook platforms. Next is the duration and budget. So this is just putting in how many days you want your ads to run for, or what date you want it to end with. Then your budget. So if you're new to this, we recommend just trying out for $50 for roughly around 3 days. And that can just help you test the waters and see whether or not this ad is working for you, or whether or not this is the budget that you want to spend. And it also helps break it down into days as well. So throughout the duration of the 10 days, this is how many people you would reach per day and how much you would spend per day as well. Then the Facebook pixel, which is what I was trying to mention before. So what Facebook pixel is just imagine this little dot that you place into your website. What that does is it tracks data that your audience goes on when they go onto your website, and it brings that data back to your Facebook, and it just translates and communicates the data between your website and Facebook, and that can help you grow your audience and see what audience you can create, and also just what pages your audience really likes visiting, and if you have products, it will tell you what products they're interested in and so forth. Then your payment details, and then you click boost, and that's your boosted ad. So just jumping back into Facebook Pixel, so there are some other benefits of having Facebook Pixel, and you do need it on your website just to help you track, and I'm pretty sure you need it to boost and do your Facebook ads. So what this does is it's a code placed on your website. It helps you track customer activity on your website as well, and then from that, in the future, it can retarget the same people who's visited your website through the Facebook ads that they've seen, and then it can monitor customer activity on your website and report it back to Facebook as well. So again, Facebook boosted posts is a simple and most basic way of doing Facebook ads. So if you're still new to this, you can try this out. Otherwise, there's the other form of Facebook, which is the Facebook ads through Facebook Ad Manager. What this does is there are a lot more customizable things that you can do with the options that they provide you. And there's a variety of ad placements that you can select from. And for Facebook ads, it's very targeted, and it's for a defined goal that you have. So there's specific ad objectives. Then you can create, manage, and optimize your ads after that. And it just uses a lot more advanced tools. So we will run through a demo, but it's more like a overview of what the backend will look like. So we'll just look into that now. Let's just get into the demo. So the other form of Facebook ad is Facebook ads through Ads Manager, and what that does for you is that, again, it's a very goal-driven way of advertising, and that's why the ads are more customizable, and there are a variety of placements that you can select from, so you can choose where you want your ads to be placed. And then there's specific ad objectives that you have to select from, because it's very goal-driven, so it's usually just to target one specific goal, and then you can create, manage, and optimize your ads, and there are a lot more things you can do in terms of targeting and just the tools itself and the budget scheduling and creative control. So we'll just run through a demo of the Facebook ad. So typically this is what the ads manager would look like. When you first land and you want to create an ad, you'll see a few of these marketing objectives. So once you've answered those 4 questions, or some of those questions that we've asked before defining your target audience and your marketing objectives, this is the reason why. So you can just figure out what direction you want to take with your ad. If you're still unsure, there are these little the eye icons, and you can just hover over it, and it will give you a description of what the purpose of this ad will do for you. So we're going to use the same example, the blog that we want to promote. So we want to drive traffic to that blog page. So we'll click on traffic. Once you do that, it will drop down with more options that you can start to fill in. So Facebook ads have 3 tiers. So the campaign is the overarching campaign of what you want to do, and then there's the ad sets, which is this section here. What ad sets is technically defining the different ads that you can have under this campaign. So you can have multiple ads running under this campaign, and how we would break it down is if you wanted to either break it down into age groups, so the 18 to 25s and then the 35s to 45, or you want to break it down to location or gender, for example. So that's a way of how you want to segregate your ads. Then you have your ads, and these are just the creative elements that tie into your ad set. So once you've selected traffic, here again, you name your campaign, and then I would just name it overall what you're going to be targeting or what you're going to be talking about with your ads. So we'll say it's an August campaign and your blog is about styling your home. Then you set your budget, and then with this you can either set a daily budget or a lifetime budget. So we'll just do $50 for the lifetime. Once you're done with that, you can click continue, and that will move into the next section, which is the ads that we're having. So in the ad section, we're going to target the 18 to 25-year-olds as one demographic. So you can again name it here, and I'll just name it and be specific so that you know in the future when you're doing reporting. And again, it'll ask you where you want to drive your traffic to, and we want to do it to the website. These here are add-ons that Facebook sometimes suggests you if they think that you would need it. So once you're familiar with Facebook ads, you can start playing around with that. But before then, it's best to just leave that and then just move on to audience. And then also some of these criteria, there are recommended criteria that you can fill in. If you're unsure, it's okay to let Facebook lead it for you, because Facebook is an advertising platform, so they will know what to do with your ads if you're unsure, and just go with their recommendations. So again, audience here, this is similar to what you saw in the boosted post. Audience, you can either create new or you can select from a drop down from your saved audience, and it will pop up here with all the criteria that you filled in, and it will give you a brief summary just to make sure that it's the correct one that you want to select, or if you want to edit it. Then here it talks about the placement. This placement, what placement is that Facebook actually has a whole lot of different areas where they can place your ads, and you can actually, if you're unsure, you can actually see it here in the edit placement. So once you hover over some of these, it will give you an example on the side. So this is what a story would look like versus what a Facebook newsfeed will look like. And if you know that 18 to 25-year-olds are generally on Messenger and Instagram, you can start to deselect some of these. But if you want to be able to reach a large area and you want a lot of people to actually see your ad, you can do automatic placement, which is just hitting the general audience. Then again, your budget and schedule. What that does is you, instead of setting how many days you want it to run it for and your end date, you can actually do a start date and a time, and an end date and a time as well. So if you know that your audience are on Facebook later at night, you can start later. And then that's your ad set there. And then so the next tier is the ads. So this is where all your creative elements starts to come together. So your creative elements will be your content and your visual assets. So again, you can name it. We want to target Brisbane, so I've named the 18 to 25-year-olds in Brisbane. Just here for the identity, what that means is where you want to place your ads. So this is your Facebook page, and conveniently you can also link it to your Instagram. So just remember to link it to your Facebook, and if you have Instagram, it can post it at the same time and select your Instagram. Then there's the format. So this is how people will see your ads when you post it. So if you have more than one product in different colors, or you have a variety of products that you want to show, you can select either carousel or collection. Or you have a single simple image or video that you want to show, you can just select that as well. So it's entirely up to you how you want to do this. Then there's the media section. What this is just simply uploading your image, and it will give you recommendations as well. So why it's recommending a square image is because of, again, that placement issue. So when you place your ads, it's going to resize for you in the different formats, which you'll see just down below here as well. So what Facebook is good at, it helps you preview your ad before you actually send it out. So it's very thorough in that sense. So put your image here, then moving down this here, the left section, this is where you start to populate your content in there. And as you put that in, there's a live preview on the right. And if you want to preview the different placements, you can actually start to scroll through and see how it works for your ads. So we'll just go back to this preview here. So this is your primary text, and as you can see, it starts to populate here. But what you notice is that some of the content is cut off. So when you're writing your content, just keep in mind that your primary text, your most important message should go into the first two sentences, And then your headline is also really important, and your description for your headline as well. So those are the three main things to keep in mind. And then you'll see that the headline is showing up here, and then your description. You might see that that's hidden, but if you go to the desktop view, you'll see it show up here as well. So just keep in mind that not all your content will be displayed depending on the platform that it is. Again, it's asking for your destination, put in your URL and link it to your blog, your call to action, and then if you are advertising internationally as well, you can set different languages, but today we're just doing it for Brisbane, so we'll leave it blank. Then again, just making sure that your tracking Facebook pixel is on, and that's pretty much your first ad. So just to recap on the two different forms of Facebook ads, there's the boosted post, which is the simple and most basic form of Facebook advertising, and what you usually use it for is to use it for audience engagement on your webpage or to develop brand awareness, whereas Facebook ads through Ads Manager is a very goal-driven platform and it's very customizable. What you would use it for is to promote your brand message, foot traffic, and then increasing and managing your sales conversions. So some of you may be wondering, so how I'm not good at designing and I'm not good at writing content, so how do I create something that's engaging and relevant? So one great tool that Facebook has recently released is called the Facebook Ads Library. What you do is you can do a competitor analysis on there to see what others have done. So when you go into Ads Library, this is what it will look like. It's a very transparent platform where it can show you what others have done in terms of the ads and what they've posted. So for example, we typed in furniture in the search bar and it has helped us populate some of the most recent ads, and it'll tell you can essentially just see their ads. So that's where the content was, what they've used, their heading, their description, and then call to action. And then if you want to see more, you can actually click into the see ad details. What you'll see is just some general data, which is how long they've run the ad for, and then the impressions, so how many times it's shown up in front of the audience, how much they've spent, who it was shown to, so the age and the demographic, and then also the location of where they've placed the ad as well. So one last thing, now that we're talking about content and creating your visuals, so creative component is the thing that kind of influences your message on social, especially if people are scrolling through their feed really fast and you only have like a few seconds to capture their attention. So if you create your ads right, and if you have your message, if you do it right, your audience will be willing to sit down and pay attention to you. So at the end of the day, it's not really whether or not someone has time for you, it's whether or not they find it interesting. So that's pretty much all we have time for today, but just for the key takeaways of this talk is, remember, before you start your Facebook ads, remember to define your goal and target market. So answer the 4 questions. What are your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals? And then have you defined your target audience, and have you answered their pain points, or have you tried to resolve their pain points? Then you gotta segment your target audience. So if you want to segment that, ask yourself who, what, when, where, and why. Then you can do your Facebook competitor analysis through what we call Facebook Ad Library, and it will just show up a few of the recent ads that your competitors have done. Remember to find your marketing objectives, so this can help you do your Facebook ads through Ads Manager. And then create your ads, apply your audience, and remember to have fun and make great copy. Thank you.